This picture was taken inside the AMC Theater. Workers claim to witness and hear spectral children playing.
So yeah, apparently this AMC's haunted. This theater is just one of two places that are in this dead mall that you might recognize as the Twin Pines Mall if you ever watch Back to the Future. Whoa. There is so much discourse on what exactly makes this AMC theater haunted. I mean, never mind the fact that you're already seeing ghosts and stuff, but the reason why it's haunted apparently boils down to three main points. One, the whole mall is haunted. Two, the building that the AMC is in has been haunted even before AMC Theaters was there. And three, some dude had a heart attack, passed away, and now haunts AMC Theaters. All of those are profoundly scary. And as someone who desperately needs to talk about something for a video, I became very intrigued about these three things and I decided to look further into them. Starting first with the mall. Now I'm going to be honest, for most of my life, I've lived around the area of Puente Hills Mall or Twin Pines Mall, and I've never heard anything good about it. And unfortunately, a lot of stuff has happened in the area that warrants the reputation that it has. I mean, the mall's biggest claim to fame, aside from being part of Back to the Future, is literally the Puente Hills Mall murders. The whole story is extremely depressing. I don't really want to get into it. I feel like I wouldn't be giving the victims justice and trying to relay the story. So I'm going to leave something for you guys to read or watch whenever you have free time. But just know, like, it's really sad. It's just super depressing. And that is one of the reasons why people say the mall is haunted. However, what happened in the Puente Hills Mall murders didn't really happen at the mall. The gist of it all is that these people were robbed. They were taken out, if you know what I mean. And then they were dumped on the freeway. Problem is that there was multiple victims and two of them were robbed at the mall. But the process of, didn't actually happen there. And I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't any type of gang violence or problems that precede the mall as a whole between the 90s until today. But as far as I could tell from my research, none of that has included someone passing away. And absolutely, if that were even to happen, none of them have ever mentioned any paranormal activity coming from stuff like that. I think a lot of what makes people think that the mall is haunted as a whole is the fact that it's a dead mall. I mean, like I said earlier, there's only two active companies that work within the mall boundaries. Other than that, there's absolutely nothing. And at night, it gets pretty creepy, okay? Overall, though, I don't think that the mall is the reason why this AMC theater is supposedly haunted. There's nothing that points to that. So naturally, I went to the second piece of evidence, which was that the building that the AMC is in has already been haunted. There's only one source for this claim, and that comes from the Haunt Tracker. I've never even heard of this website until I started researching for this. So I'm just going to read straight from here. Before the AMC Now, which was opened in 1996, it was a Broadway department store. It was known by employees to be very haunted. On the third floor, stock workers were frightened by music coming from a locked and empty stockroom. It's pretty scary. Workers had feelings of panic and chills. On the second floor, employees heard their names called by someone unseen. And in parentheses, it says, this is a very common occurrence experienced by even non-believers. Whoa. Several times before the store opened, employees heard the sounds of someone straightening the racks in the lingerie department. You got a freaky ghost. Most of all, though, this stuck out to me. It's at the very end of this huge paragraph talking about the Broadway department store. And it says, a manager had a heart attack at work and died while they were loading her into the ambulance. That's very interesting. I'm starting to see a common thread between all of these haunt stories, going beyond just the actual building that is haunted. Everybody is saying that someone passed away from a heart attack. So I went to find out if this was actually true. I searched all over the internet and I found absolutely nothing concerning anyone passing away from a heart attack. Okay, next idea. I'm gonna go check the local newspapers from that era and see if anyone had passed away. Turns out I don't have access to any archive unless I have a library card. And it's from the Huntington Beach Library. Well, I guess I'll have to go there and get a card myself. But before we do any of that, let's actually go to the AMC and see if there's any ghosts.
Your box.
Is it obvious? Okay, well, so far this place looks really lively. Here is the infamous theater to our right, 5. We're theater 1, so I know. Let's see if 5 is playing anything right now. Well, I'm gonna be honest and say that absolutely nothing happened to me. It wasn't scary at all. I mean, we went there at the last showing at 11 p.m. and I left the theater at 1 in the morning and there still wasn't anything. I even went to Auditorium 5, which apparently is the place where some guy died of the heart attack, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything. It actually just felt like an empty theater. The scariest thing there was the security guard walking around and telling people to leave. So I did. I left and was concluding my initial investigation, very disappointed. But it's not over, because I have to know if someone actually died in this theater. And the only way for me to know is to get a library card so I could access the archives to see if someone had died in this theater. So I was off to get the top secret library card from the Huntington Library in Huntington Beach. Okay, so at this point, I finally had access to the database. And trust me when I say that I looked through every single article that regarded AMC, theaters, or heart attacks between the times of 2001 to 2010. Because apparently, some guy had a heart attack here in 2001, 2005, 2008, and the 90s. And I found absolutely nothing regarding someone getting a heart attack here. So unless this happened in the 90s, in which I've done multiple Google searches trying to find out if it actually did, this is a false claim. I was starting to really lose hope over this haunted theater. I mean, every single big experience that could constitute something being haunted did not happen, or at least I couldn't find anything to prove that it happened. And when I actually went to go visit the theater, I had a pleasant experience until apparently I found out that I missed the most haunted part of this whole theater, the restrooms. That's why I didn't see anything. I simply didn't go to the restroom. I had no need. Okay, this is where we're going back. And we're not going to be watching a kid movie. We're actually going to be watching a scary movie to set the tone. The Minions. I came prepared this time. We arrived at the mall about an hour before our movie even started. And we walked around to see if there was anything scary with the building. And the scariest part was the security guard again. So then we actually made our way to the theater, got our tickets, and then looked around even more. And guess what I did? I went to go check those restrooms. Both restrooms. Feel a little weird recording in a restroom. I don't know how long I'm gonna do this for, but I mean, it's not that bad. Aside from it being a little creepy because it's late at night, it's just a regular restroom. I mean, I felt no presence. I felt no gust of wind. I heard no sounds, and I was definitely alone. And I was there for a while. Trust me, I was there for a while. So then I went and watched the movie, which is supposed to scare me, until it wasn't scary because there was a full house of people and everyone was laughing throughout the whole thing. And I was deceived. The Minions isn't actually scary. The news got to me, I guess. I did leave midway through the movie to go walk the hallways alone to see if something was going to appear. But no, it just looked like an old theater. Overall, there was nothing really scary going on. There was some random comment of some person saying that the women's restroom was haunted, but I don't feel like taking that risk. I don't want to go to jail. So with everything that had happened within the researching and the actual experience, I decided to close my investigation. For now. If you've had a haunted experience at this theater, the Puente Hills AMC 20 theater, or any other theater in general, I'd love to hear your experience. I want to compare and see what I could have done better in this investigation. Please subscribe. I have 2 videos up One of them talks about going to the restroom in Los Angeles. And I have 0 subscribers right now, so I would love some love. Goodbye.